Hello, my name is Ethan Kelly. I'm a first year here at Harvard College intending on studying government. I am currently here at the Harvard Kennedy School Institute of Politics with Chuck Todd. Would you mind introducing yourself?
I'm Chuck Todd. I'm the political director and moderator of Meet the Press for NBC News.
So today I'm going to be asking Chuck a few questions, so let's go ahead and get started. As the world adopts to a more online presence, where do you see journalism in this whole new future of social media?
Well, look, it's more entrepreneurial, which is something that I love in the respect that that's how I got my start. I got my start at a small publication in the 90s. It was sort of, we were taking advantage of this new technology called fax machines, and then on the web. So without technology, I wouldn't have had a career. I do think it only encourages more entrepreneurial. Some people would call that citizen-based journalism, but to me, all journalism is citizen-based. And so what I think you'll have is sort of loose networks. If you work for the New York Times, you may also have 2 or 3 other affiliations. I think more and more journalists would sort of believe they should own their own stuff. And that's both good and bad. It allows new voices to come into the arena that are only enhance the journalism. But I also think it fractures our conversation even more.
And building off that, the objective nature of American media seems to be really under fire right now, as nonpartisan and pretty much just biased news sources have been gaining traction online. What has your sector of media really done to, in a sense, catch up in this race for journalism across the nation?
Somebody's got to try to be sort of a clarifier. And I always just look at myself as an explainer. Somebody called me the other day, "You're a radical centrist." And I said, well, is that supposed to be a compliment or a critique? And he meant it as a compliment, that sort of somebody's got to occupy this space.
So in terms of reaching your broadest audience, a lot of young people like myself truly don't turn to cable television as their means of news outlets. A lot of people that I'm friends with go to Twitter or TikTok even for their sources of information.
Right.
Where do you see your role and your sector of media playing a part in reaching out to those younger generations, especially as cable media really appeals to a much older audience?
Well, I don't consider myself a cable person. I have a show that is on cable, but cable to me is all about agitation to keep a viewer. I always look at it as we have to be platform neutral. So, whether it's podcasts, I want Meet the Press to signal to somebody, oh, boy, those are the smart political people. They understand the cross-section of policy and politics. Whether that's on social media, whether that's on a podcast, whether that's on a program that's syndicated on cable news or on streaming news or on demand. If you're worrying about catering to a single platform, then you're going to end up losing a whole bunch of viewers, in another space.
There's a lot of young people out there like myself who really want to get involved with American journalism and really cover the stories that you cover. What message would you give them right now in terms of going out there and putting themselves out there, especially since our entire nation is really divided about trusting our media and there's a bunch of different sources of journalism?
Look, I think the best thing to do is be an expert at something and then go out there and be a reporter on it. I'm somebody who thinks journalism shouldn't be a major. Meaning, journalism is like teaching somebody to change a light bulb or teaching somebody how electricity works. It's certainly a trade and you need to learn it, but it is a vehicle for your information. I think the most successful way to get a foot in the door is go deep on a specific angle, whether it's in the form of data journalism, in that respect, if it's about a specific, part of the world. I just think you'll get the most fulfillment out of it. Don't wait to join a big news organization and hope someday you're on the climate beat.
We've been asking every guest here at the IOP this question this semester. If you could change any law or policy to address the challenges facing our democracy today, what would it be?
I try to make every congressional district as competitive as possible in a general election. That, it's not always possible, but I think these days with all politics being nationalized anyway, first of all, I would double the size of the US Congress. And if you can't do it, then I would think about multi-party democracy. But it would be all about that because that has created, the two parties' bases control way too much of the electoral landscape. And the middle, of which most people gravitate to, have very few options.
Yeah, definitely want to see what happens with independent commissions across the nation. Thank you so much for taking the time to answer these questions.
You got it.